AM Jones and Keefe, WEEI. It is a Patriots Friday, but a lot of Red Sox talk today, of course. I agree and disagree with Brooksy there.
You do?
Yeah, I mean,
I agree with the last thing he said.
That's what I agree with, too.
Yeah, they should have won game 2.
Look at game 2.
Yeah.
And look, if you're going to have an all-time performance on the other side from a kid who doesn't have much more experience than your guy last night,
From
Connolly
Boston,
Early.
I heard.
From downtown Boston.
Yeah. The heart of it.
And he comes out pumping 101, and he has a legitimate all-time, unprecedented performance. Never happened in baseball history.
That's wild.
Fine.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
You didn't have a shot last night.
There's no way we're losing to a pitcher named Schnitzel.
Turns out you did.
Well, that's not his name, and he shoved.
Game 2 now makes you feel even more sick to your stomach.
It's gross.
The way that went down. But the other part, like they came up just short. What game were you watching last? That wasn't just short. They weren't even competitive.
No, it felt like they lost by 14. Like in the 9th inning, when they're down by 4, you're like, there's zero chance. Like they can't get a guy to third base. They got one guy to second base. It was just awful. And so the hitting is its own thing. And even if Connolly Early allowed one run and stayed in the rest of the game, you lose 1-0 because they couldn't generate any offense, right? He could have had a gem himself. Or like Garrett Crochet would have lost that game. Garrett Crochet gives up one little dinky home run. He would have lost that game.
Garrett Crochet.
With that same performance.
With the same performance from game 1.
Yeah.
Would have lost to Schlittler.
So that's
night.
brutal. But aside from that, not only did Connolly Early and even the relievers who came in and did fine, or good, actually, all those guys were not just let down by the bats, but the gloves. Those guys, there was either no effort or just poor performance in the field by a bunch of guys. Cedar Rafaela is supposed to be the greatest defensive center fielder in the history of the Red Sox, is what I've been told. He can't catch a moonshot to the outfield.
By the way, I kind of believe it. Like, he's been unbelievable defensively.
Listen, he's good,
but that was horrible.
That was
play last night.
Terrible. Jarren Duran, went back to 2 years ago where he's just like trotting after balls in the outfield. Romy Gonzalez can't make a play. Might have been a tough play, but can't make a play. And then Nathaniel Lowe has a big error. Could have been a double play. Instead, it's 2 runs scored. So the defense was terrible last night, and then the bats were non-existent. So you're never going to win a game like that.
So second inning is the play you're referencing with Duran. So that was just bad all around. Giancarlo Stanton thinks he hits a home run. Wrong.
Hilarious.
I mean, he smoked it.
He crushed it, but stayed in the ballpark.
Stands
How can
there.
a guy with that many career home runs
you'd
be
think
that
he'd know
wrong?
it. I don't
really
know.
weird.
You'd think he'd know it. So,
No.
like, absolute clown.
Yep.
Loser. Looking at his bench, like, trying to fire him up. And then he's like, oh, crap, I better get on my horse and get into second base. But that wasn't the worst part of it. Duran also thought it was a home run, jogged after it, and then he gets, I actually think, believe it or not for him, a decent throw to Trevor Story.
Yeah, he does not have a good arm.
And Trevor Story, like, pop flies the thing into second base like it's a spring training game.
Yeah, they should have thrown him out. They
Or
didn't.
like it was Judge the other day. Like when Judge fell asleep on Sogard getting to second base, that's how Story threw it to get Stanton yesterday. So that whole play in the second inning, even though it didn't come back to bite them and Connolly Early got out of it, that was probably a bad sign for the Red Sox being locked in on their fundamentals. And then fourth inning, the play you're talking about with Rafaela diving. Bellinger should have been a pop-up.
Oh, yeah, he hit it to the moon.
I initially wanted to blame Abreu because I thought that was his ball. But as you said, when you watch the replay, not only did Rafaela take a horrible route, like obviously he had to cover a lot of ground and still almost made the catch, but he set himself up for it with a horrible route. And I thought it bounced when I watched it in real time. You saw the replay, it hit him right in the glove.
Oh, yeah.
So I think Rafaela has to make that catch.
Gotta have it.
And if he doesn't make it, Abreu's got to get a better read on it.
That changes that entire inning.
Completely.
Like, obviously.
Now Bellinger's there, the crowd's into it. He walks Stanton on, as you said,
competitive at bat.
And a borderline pitch. Yep. But he walks Stanton.
Which isn't the end of the world because Stanton smoked the ball off him before, and now you set up a double play. Unfortunately, you weren't really turning double plays.
I thought most righties, I didn't love that situation for early last night. So him putting Stanton on there, I didn't think was the end of the world either. He strikes out Rice. Okay, here we go.
Oh, yeah, he smoked Rice. Rice had no chance.
Rosario, RBI single, Bellinger scores. That's the play you were talking about with Noodle Arm Duran and his throw.
Yeah, so this is one where I don't really expect him, I guess, to make the play. It would have been a bonus. But with a runner on second, and it's hit to shallow left field, and Jarren Duran gets it, kind of loops it in, and it's not even a play at the plate. I was like, oh, that's not good.
Chisholm single to load the bases, which I was surprised nobody scored there.
Yeah.
Volpe single, Stanton scores 2-0. That's one that Romy could have got to, or if Romy wasn't in the lineup, and I wanted him in there last night. You wanted Sogard. Who was making Lou
Hamilton,
Maloney?
yeah,
Lou
he
Maloney
wanted-
was making the case for Hamilton. Maybe one of those guys gets to that one. Romy didn't.
Maybe.
So now it's 2-0.
Real quick.
And then the low play with the error blows it open for 4-0.
I thought early was actually really good. And the thing, though, is we wondered if Aaron Boone would go with his lefties versus a lefty, which he did. And I think he probably felt the pressure because in the loss, he didn't have Ben Rice in there, who looks lost against lefties.
Yep.
And then Jazz Chisholm. And so that was a spot where that really could have been pro Red Sox and, against Boone. But Jazz Chisholm coming through there against the lefty, that was pretty big.
Chisholm had 2 hits last night. Both were bad defensively. Rice dropped a pop-up.
Yeah, Chisholm was shaky over
Chisholm
there.
kept bouncing throws to second base.
Could have easily had 2 more double plays.
So, I mean, and he's lucky there weren't more errors mixed in there. So I thought Chisholm was shaky defensively, but 2 hits for him. Rice was horrible. So I still didn't like that decision from Aaron Boone, but when Schlittler is going to do what he did, it was pretty hard
awesome.
for Boone to make a mistake. So I read this earlier. Let me reiterate. Jeff Passan had this tweet last night because I'm like, man, this is a really good performance from this kid. As I texted the group, Keefe, I had no idea the kid threw 101.
The whole time.
Like when we, again, I heard a million things about this kid from Walpole,
heard
a.k.a.
heard about his dad.
Downtown Boston.
Yeah.
Dad is the police chief in Needham. Went to Northeastern. His family abandoned the Red Sox. Like, I heard a lot about this kid.
How about him throwing gas?
When I sat down, I was stunned when he pumped it in there 101.
It's like 101.
I wasn't ready for that. Passan tweets this out. Cam Schlittler's night is over. This is right when he left the game.
Yeah.
8 shutout, which I was very disappointed when he came out for the 8th. I didn't think Boone would bring him back out for the 8th. I'm like, maybe
9th, probably
an idiotic thing for me to believe. But I'm like, if it's Weaver in the 8th, and then you got Bednar or something, I'm like,
talking yourself.
I'm like, they're going to get to these guys. But no, he came back out and just cruised in the 8th. 8 shutout, 5 hits, did not walk a batter, struck out 12.
What a line.
Again, 8 scoreless, 5 hits, no walks, 12 Ks.
And then Bednar immediately walks the guy, and you're like, oh, my God, this bullpen. But then, obviously, shut it down from there.
He is the first pitcher, not, as you said, Keefe, not first rookie pitcher.
Nope.
Not first pitcher in Yankees history. First pitcher in baseball history. A lot of history there.
I was going to say, I was like racking my mind on that one. I'm like, is that even true?
To
I'm
go
like
8 innings, walk none, punch out 12 in a postseason game.
I was like, Madison Bumgarner didn't do that. Like, Pedro didn't do that. Clemens. I'm like trying to think of all these different guys. I'm like, apparently not.
I mean,
There's no way we're losing to a pitcher named Schnitzel.
Well,
they sure did.
It happened.
They sure did because of him.
Because
he won the game.
I mean, you said this earlier. I mean, as great as Crochet was in game 1, this kid was better.
He would have beat you.
It's unreal. So, I said this earlier in the show, and then we can get to some phone calls. Like, I feel like that's the way our parents talk about Ken Dryden. And I don't know.
Came in out of nowhere.
I don't know that this kid is going to have that kind of career, but like, and the Red Sox aren't those Bruins teams. Like, I guess it's not a perfect analogy, but like the kid comes out of nowhere and just stands on his head, shuts it down. This is the equivalent of that. And it was, I mean, out of all my, I was wrong on a million things yesterday. I thought they'd win.
Yeah.
I thought Cora was an advantage over Boone, which Cora didn't have a great night.
No.
I thought Duran was going to come through in a big spot. Like, wrong. I was most wrong about Schlittler because I thought they'd get to him.
Yeah, it was devastating. And like every pitch counts. It's the playoffs. It's an elimination game in the playoffs. And then as soon as that first run came across the board in the 4th, you're like, oh no. Like, because you just saw Schlittler throw 3 straight innings, or 4 innings, actually. You just saw him go 4 innings, and you're like, they don't seem to be touching this guy. Like, this is going to be a get to the bullpen, get the pitch count up kind of game. You're going to have to grind it. And you're like, you know what? You might need the game to be even or minimum down 1 when both teams go to the bullpen.
Yeah.
But that wasn't the case. You're going to the bullpen and way before they do.
1-0 felt bad.
Yeah.
I was like, maybe 2-0 is like the absolute limit of what they can get away with.
2-0.
They were down 2-0.
Puncher's chance at 2-0.
They were down 2-0 in game 2.
Yeah.
So I'm like, they can overcome this.
Sure they can.
The low error was the death knell. Like that went from maybe they have a chance to they're dead. The season's over.
That was a lot of people probably shut it off at that point. Or shut the remote or whatever.
I don't know why I didn't.
I had so many rally beers last night, which turns out did nothing.
No rally?
No, there was no rally. They might have been anti-rally beers. I didn't read the label, but they were horrible.
Yeah, you gotta on the bottom of the you gotta check on the bottom of the can.
Yeah.
Wait a minute, was this a rally beer?
These are anti-rally beers.
No!
These are Cam Schlittler beers. These are Yankees starting pitcher beers. Oh, it's terrible.
So the Red Sox offense in this series, Keefe, 6 runs.
Seems high, actually. It doesn't feel like they even scored 6 runs.
19 for 96.
Yeah.
I'll do the math on that quickly. That's a 198 batting average. 3 doubles.
Okay.
1 homer, so 4 extra
Trevor Story bomb,
4 extra base hits.
and a game you lost. Yeah,
30 strikeouts.
30 Ks. So they
96
strike out
at-bats.
10 Ks a game on average. And really, Yoshida had a couple of nice slap hits last night. Yoshida stays hot. He had the big hit in game 1. Almost came through in game 2. Would have come through in game 2 if Kyle Hudson wasn't horrible at his job. And then after that, it was Bregman and Story. He had 3 guys over the course of 3 games that did something at the plate.
Woof.
Everybody else was real bad.
Woof. Let's get to the phone. 617-779-7937. Cody is in Worcester. Go ahead, Cody.
Hey, man, my pitcher was on fire last night. I think he had, 11, 12 strikeouts?
12. We just
The
told you.
Red Sox
12.
could not touch us. He could not touch us.
What are you on the team?
My Yankees are going all the way. Go Yankees.
Okay.
Is that it? You don't even know how many strikeouts he had? And then you call in and you're like, us, that, and the other thing?
Doesn't seem like the strongest Yankee fan if he wasn't quite sure on the
How
number.
many Ks did he have,
I
guys?
just said it multiple times. While he
There's
was on
no
hold.
way for you to get that information.
Please use your time as efficiently as we can.
You can, I don't know, watch the game when they mentioned 1,000 times he had 12 strikeouts.
Think there's any shot they win the World Series?
Yeah.
I don't. I mean,
It's baseball.
Well, so fine. If you're going to say that, just like any team can win.
Yeah.
I mean,
we
guess,
put him on the tier with a chance. So,
fine.
yeah.
But
I don't think I'm not going to predict it.
is baseball. Like,
I think they beat the Blue Jays, though.
as bad as the Red Sox offense was, let's not pretend the Yankees had a good offense.
No.
I mean, that whole 4th inning was the Red Sox butchering. They didn't hit a ball hard in
plus,
that inning.
you're going to get them out of Yankee Stadium, too. So then, yeah, I don't know. But I do think they beat the Blue Jays. I think they lose to
I think
Seattle.
that's
Judge
exactly
had
what I
4
think.
hits. One of them should have been an error that was ruled a single.
Yeah.
All
Yeah, I
of
was
them
gonna
were
say.
singles.
Good point. Judge kind of stinks again in the postseason.
Bellinger's double should have been an out. Stanton's double should have been thrown out.
Now,
It should
look,
have- yeah.
this might be sour grapes, and the Red
2
Sox
home runs were only
Look,
home runs. In
the Red
Yankee
Sox were
Stadium.
worse.
Right.
The Yankees are the more talented team.
Yeah.
The Yankees probably deserve to win that, although if
Probably
the third
gonna
base
be the
coach could
Dodgers.
just wave a guy around, it might have gone differently. But I mean, all those things. This isn't like the Red Sox should have. But I don't think the Yankees' offense was great in
wasn't.
this series, and
No,
I
it wasn't.
don't think Schlittler's doing that again.
No.
I doubted him once. Shame on me.
I think he'll be all right. I wouldn't be surprised if he's
Although,
like.
what was the stat ESPN said last night that he's like top 10 in every stat since June in the American League?
I missed that.
Him and Trevor Rogers?
Yeah, I guess.
People love that Trevor Rogers.
Let's go to Ted in the car. Hello, Ted.
Get him, Ted.
Guys, how you doing? This is a horrible series for the Red Sox, but not for Alex Cora. I thought he did a good job. I think, like it was said on the station yesterday, he knew they had to win in 2, and I think he did everything he could to win in 2. But a big mistake in Game 2 that I don't know if you guys mentioned or not
I bet we did.
was the pitcher throwing 4 times to first base and putting that guy on second, and then he came in to score in Game 2, which I feel really kind of changed the game because the game was so close.
Okay, I think is he mixing up his games?
I think so.
Chapman did that in Game 1.
And it didn't
The
really
run
hurt him.
didn't score.
Didn't hurt him.
That didn't happen in Game 2.
I don't think so. We went over this with a fine-tooth comb.
I think he's mixing up his games, is what I think he's doing. First thing he said, Cora had a good series. I don't think
Cora was good or bad. I think Cora was kind of fine.
Right. So Cora is not, we haven't spent a lot of time talking about
yeah, he's not on the poop list
He's
or on the stars
not
list.
at the top of my list. He gets to keep his job. Okay, so I'm not calling for his head or anything like that.
No.
But what I thought was odd last night about Cora is he was so aggressive in Game 2 with Bayo. Get him out of there. We're not going to lose this. It's an empty the bucket, kitchen sink kind of game. And then you get to Game 3, and he's asleep while Connolly Early, and it's not Early's fault.
Yeah.
But Connolly Early is a kid in his 5th start in Yankee Stadium, and the defense has given him nothing behind him.
Yeah.
Cora just felt asleep at the wheel. Now, again, you can defend him by saying Early was fine. The defense is letting him down.
Yeah.
But I just felt like it was just so night and day from the night before.
Yeah, it was the opposite of that. Although in real time, everybody was calling for get Early out of there. Like Early wasn't giving up 120 mile an hour exit velo shots.
No, but the
defense sucked.
But it felt like the righties were all locked in on him, and
Yeah.
so that's
but who was the last guy he faced? Was it Grisham? So
Yeah,
he faced a lefty.
He stayed. There were 2
That's
more.
what I'm saying.
You knew he wasn't going to get to Judge.
Yeah.
that you knew.
So
hang on, did they pull him?
I think he faced Grisham, which you could make
They
the
did.
case like maybe get him out because Grisham already had a hit on.
And in
off him,
fairness,
so that's fine.
And in fairness, Wells was the fielder's choice. That low error.
But here's the thing:
that was another lefty.
Would everybody have brought in Slayton for Grisham? Probably not.
I mean, you have 8 million lefties in that pen.
Yeah, but then they have to face Judge.
Well, Oh, that is true. Yeah, if you bring him in there, you're right.
So that's what I'm saying. Like, that's why it felt like you were leaving him out to dry. And unless you thought mentally he was going to collapse.
That's not necessarily true.
All right, what do you got?
So if you got him out after the Volpe hit, it's 2 lefties, and then you can get there's one out in the inning, so you could get out of the inning and finish the inning. But that is a bit of a dangerous game. If anybody gets on, then you're talking.
But so you're saying for Wells. I'm saying if you go one after that. Because
Yeah.
I was looking more at Grisham because he had the hit before. I'm like,
Good
all right,
point.
maybe you get him out now. But then I'm like, well, no. It's the matchup I want. And then you get to...
No, that's a good point.
Yeah.
If you run the risk of getting to Judge, that could have been part of the decision-making process there, too.
I think the defense and the bats were both bigger than any single decision Cora did or didn't make.
We asked this question earlier today. Binary. You have to pick one or the other. No gray area in the middle.
All right, no nuance.
Red Sox season was a success. Yes or no?
Yes. Begrudgingly today. Today's the worst day to ask it, but yes.
I mean, it wasn't a failure. Justin in D.C., hello.
Oh, wait a minute.
Gentlemen, I do think it is a failure because we need to put this into context. This isn't the Cleveland Guardians. This is the Boston Red Sox, one of the most damn respected sports institutions in the world. We've been in a rebuild for 5 or 6 years, depending how you look at it. The American League was historically weak with an expanded playoff, and we are thrilled because we got our butts kicked in Yankee Stadium. And the reason why
you're adding thrills.
We're not thrilled.
Nobody said that.
No, I wish they won this series. They could have and maybe should have won this series. So we're not thrilled. But Justin, we talked to you last week, and you didn't think they were going to make the playoffs. So
no, I didn't, and that's great. But
okay, well,
so
they
just
did.
because they exceeded what I thought their talent level would do, doesn't make it a success because you guys are minimizing the work they have to do. Playoff baseball's pitching and defense. They need to add a number 2 and 3 starter like we discussed yesterday because you have to assume one of them is going to get hurt.
Agreed.
But then look at the bats, and this is real quick. We know you have to replace Devers, but also we're talking about Jarren Duran being a choke artist loser. So you're going to have to replace
Wait,
him.
Justin, can I jump in on this? I'm sorry to interrupt, but I will give you credit. I'll give you credit for this. You
were right about that.
You called and bitched about Duran yesterday. All the credit in the world for
Yeah,
that.
no,
I disagree on the failure thing, but Duran, you were 100% right on. Keep going.
Well, okay, so you got to replace the Devers bat. We agree that we need to move Duran. So you're going to need to replace him, and he was probably your second best bat this entire season.
No, he wasn't.
And that doesn't
No
even
way was he your second best bat.
Well, if you look at OPS and the WAR and the numbers, like you can make an argument he was.
So do you think he's good or bad? I'm now confused, Justin. Do you think he's good or bad? I don't get it.
I think he's all that I'm trying to say.
If you look at OPS, he's like
not,
8th on the team. Like, what are you talking about?
I don't think he's great, but I do think he is a bat that has some power on a team without any that you need to replace.
He had 16 home runs. You're talking about a different guy, I think. First of all, Roman Anthony.
I was just Jarren
Duran, if Jarren Duran just got benched, which doesn't happen in baseball, if he just got benched and Roman Anthony was healthy, fine, you've replaced him. Now, we talk about Pete Alonso.
Anthony Rafael Abreu, you just replaced him.
You're fine.
Yeah, what do you?
You don't need to replace him.
I don't understand that.
I get his point about Devers, and that's where like Pete Alonso,
No.
or if there's some of these other free agents like a Bo Bichette, if you want to add guys to the roster like that, great. We're not saying run it back. Nobody's saying run it back, but to be like, oh my God, you have to replace Jarren Duran, who had 16 home runs and an OPS of 774.
Yeah, no, Duran hit righties, which is why I thought he was going to come through last night. Wrong.
Willie Abreu had a higher OPS. Alex Bregman had a higher OPS. Roman Anthony had a higher OPS. Both your lefty killers, Rob Refsnyder and Roman Gonzalez, had a higher OPS.
So, I mean, again, I think it's hard to take a victory lap on it considering who you lost to yesterday. But they needed to make the playoffs, and they did.
Yeah.
So that's not a failure. If success is too strong of a word, we're just trying to make it one or the other, either or. So it can't be a failure. By definition, that to me has to be a success is how I would look at it. He's right about replacing Devers. This is now where you have to do it. They were a better team without Devers. Inarguable. They just were.
Yep.
If you want to say they may have missed him against the Yankees, we can debate that. They were a better team without him. You can't argue that. That's what happened. This is where John Henry and ownership has to replace Devers. And this is where the money matters. People trying to bring up the money saved on Devers, they had to spend it at the trade deadline. They didn't get it. They were never, no player like that moved at the deadline. It was all rentals. No big money long-term deals moved at the deadline. That's not how the deadline works. Now is when you have to do it. So whether that is Alonso, Schwarber, Tucker, who's the other name you just mentioned?
Bichette.
Oh, Bo Bichette.
Yeah.
That's a new one.
Add him to the pile.
Interesting. So you have to spend big if you're ownership, and you may have to do that on a couple of players. So now ownership is a massive problem and remains one until they spend. Massive problem. I just think Devers was a bigger one, as we've discussed. But I have a hard time saying the year was a failure when we were taking calls last week from guys like Justin saying they are going to collapse and miss the playoffs. They didn't. They got in. It sucks they lost to the Yankees.
Oh, it's very frustrating.
This year was a step in the right direction, but it's going to be a massive, massive offseason to get it right. And I agree with you, Keefe. Duran is one of those guys who has to go.